cryptocurrency fell to the $27,000 level, thanks in part to Binance reporting congestion on Bitcoin's network over the weekend. Ether also took a hit this morning, falling to $1,800.
Investor fears have spiked amid high inflation, recession concerns, and bank failures. 1 in 3 investors now expect markets to drop 10% in the next 3 months.
You know, there's an awful lot of bearish sentiment out there.
In today's video, we're going to be discussing the current state of Bitcoin and where it's headed in the near future. You see, Bitcoin tanks below $28,000. So, are we at the bottom, or is there more pain to come? And what factors could affect the price of Bitcoin in the months to come? In this video, Gareth Soloway also examines the technical analysis of Bitcoin, looking at the key support and resistance levels and exploring different scenarios for the future of the crypto market. So, for all you Bitcoin enthusiasts out there, this is definitely worth listening to. And if you want more videos on crypto and the economy, make sure to hit that subscribe button and the bell icon to never miss a video. Are you ready? Let's jump right in.
30,500 level where we stopped is psychologically a huge level. So for me, I'm still in the camp where this is still a bear market. If you look at the move down from 69,000 to 15.7, then the bounce to 30,000, it's still relatively within past cycles bounces, right? We've seen in 2018, 2019, heck, we had bounces from 3,500 back to close to 10,000. So percentage-wise, that's even bigger than what we've seen here. I'm also, and we just talked about it previously too, is I'm also very concerned about the psychology of investors in crypto being far too bullish at this point. If this is a bull market cycle, if you look at past bull markets, investors were still very bearish. Like, I still vividly remember when Bitcoin was at 10,000 in 2000 and late 18, 19, people were still very scared. And Bitcoin at that point was up 200% basically off of its lows. Here we have, in my opinion, the bullishness is near the bullishness that we saw when we were at the tops at 69,000. So, you know, again, when you see Pepe running, I think it's up like 1,500% now in a week, and it literally has no value whatsoever, but it's just getting pumped. Those are red flags to me as a trader and an investor, right? If this was the stock market and I saw AMC doing that again or GameStop, I would be equally as concerned. And so for me, to me, it doesn't seem like a true bottom, so it has me on edge. And I still think whether we go higher or not, my guess is there's still more pain to fully flush out crypto. And that could come from regulation. It could come from stock market collapsing. One of the things I like to say is even though I think we could go a little bit higher in the stock market, we discussed that as well, I still think we are headed much, much lower over the next year or two in the stock market. And if that does happen, it's hard for me to believe that crypto will withstand, 20, 30% down on the S&P 500.
According to Gareth Soloway, Bitcoin is still in a downtrend and hasn't bottomed yet. Now, you might be wondering, why does he think that way? Gareth explains that the recent bounce from 15K to 30K is not very impressive compared to previous cycles. For example, in 2018-19, Bitcoin went from 3.5K to almost 10K, which is a bigger percentage increase. But that's not all. He also mentioned that the market sentiment is too optimistic for a bottom. In the past, during bull markets, investors were still bearish. But now, we're seeing a lot of hype and enthusiasm, which is reminiscent of the sentiment we saw at the top of the market at 69,000. So, what does this mean for Bitcoin's future? Has Bitcoin bottomed out? According to Gareth, there's still a possibility of more pain to come, whether it's due to regulation, a stock market collapse, or other factors. While it's possible that we could see some short-term gains in the stock market, Gareth believes that we're headed for a bigger correction over the next year or two. And if the stock market crashes, which he thinks it will, crypto will suffer too. In the next clip, we're diving into some technical analysis here, so hold on to your seats.
This is how I have my chart set up. And basically, you can see we had this is where the banking crisis kind of started, right in this area. We had the big push up. We then had sideways move. We just talked about how that 27,000 level is the current support here. Up here, this is your 30,500 level. And again, just to show everyone where I'm getting that from is if you stretch that line all the way back, you have this little pivot right here, which was hit multiple times after this initial move in Bitcoin. It came down, it hit again, then ran to 65,000. Then it came down again and hit 1, 2, 3, 4 times, then ran to 69,000 before breaking back and consolidating right at that same level. So technically speaking, to me, that's a huge wall right there. And we've already seen it tested, and now it's, it's pulling back a little bit, but we're hanging relatively close. So you got to give it credit. It's not collapsing right off that level, which means there is a chance it can break through. So if we just go into the short term, and we talked about this, if you break 30,500, I have this trend line from this pivot right here to here. That would probably be your first area of resistance. So if we get through 30,500, you're looking at 33, 34,000 right up here. On the downside, if we take out the 27,000, you have this pivot here at 24 and this at 25. So those would be your two levels. And then lastly, we just talked about how here's my trend line going into this pivot right through here and right down to here. This would be my concern, right? If we ever get below this line and we break this trend line, that's where I would say, okay, now we're likely at least going to test the lows at 15.7. I still think there's possibility that we could see 12 to 13,000 and 9,000. It seems kind of ludicrous at this point, but again, from some of the stuff I'm looking at on the stock market, that would be the catalyst, is that if the stock market really does take a dump later this year or next year, that selling pressure will take Bitcoin with it.
Bitcoin tanks below $28,000. According to Gareth Soloway, on the downside, if we see a break below the key support level of 27,000, we'll need to watch out for levels at 24,000 and 25,000. But let's not forget about the worst case scenario. And believe it or not, Gareth thinks we could see levels as low as 12,000 to 13,000 or even 9,000 if the stock market takes a dive later this year or next year. So buckle up, folks. It's going to be a wild ride. Let's get into the next clip to hear more from Gareth Soloway. Also, be sure to give a big thumbs up to this video.
You have the 15.7, 15,000 level. That's going to be double bottom. Probably a swing trade bounce off of that level, I would assume. After that, you have 12 to 13,000 as a major target. And then my guess is if you're looking at max pain for Bitcoin, it would be a 10,000 break. So, if you think about where most people will throw in the towel, where they will freak out, 10,000 breaks. So in the 9,000, that would be kind of your max pain. And sometimes in bear markets, and we saw this in 09. I mean, think about 09 in March, where the bank stocks literally were pennies on the dollar. People were just freaking out. I knew people back then that literally would not open up their trading accounts because it was so nasty. They didn't even want to look at that point. So we haven't, to me, I don't think we've hit that on crypto yet. It doesn't seem like it. But again, maybe it's a new breed here in crypto, and this is the way it is.
Wow, that was some valuable information from Gareth Soloway. Now, let's talk about potential targets for Bitcoin. Gareth sees the 15,000 to 15,700 level as a likely double bottom and a possible swing trade bounce opportunity. But wait, there's more. He believes that the 12,000 to 13,000 range could be a major target if the downturn continues. However, let's not forget the worst-case scenario. Gareth thinks that a break below 10,000 could be where most people would throw in the towel and panic. Imagine the chaos that could ensue if that were to happen. In previous bear markets, we've seen people completely freaking out. So, to answer the question on whether Bitcoin has bottomed, Gareth's perspective is that we haven't reached a true bottom yet. However, it's important to remember that the market is always changing, and nothing is set in stone. We'll have to wait and see how things play out in the coming months. That's it for today's video. We hope you found this information insightful. Let us know your thoughts on Bitcoin's current trend, potential targets for Bitcoin, and the worst-case scenario in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more updates on crypto and economy. Also, be sure to hit that bell icon to never miss any video. Thanks for watching, and see you next time. Adios.